Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thunderbird Radio, the best place to get announcements for all things UMA. Remember that if you have any announcements, to email them to announcements@utahmilitaryacademy.org. Again, that is announcements at utahmilitaryacademy.org. Note that this week's announcements are for the September 3rd to 6th school week. Make sure not to mix it up. Important note that this week's duty flight is Charlie Flight. If you're in Charlie Flight, please be present for duty flight. If you go off campus and don't think you'll be able to make it back in time, please don't go off campus. We want to see you there at duty flight. Now, like last week, we have an important topic to discuss, being the uniform. We always have this topic to discuss. Although this week's section should be a bit less lengthy than last week's. So, apparently this is a new section for the announcements, which for this is called the Uniform Tip of the Day, but for this announcement podcast, it's going to be called Uniform Tip of the Week. So, the uniform tip of this week is going to be that the ABU pants must be worn with the bottoms tucked into your boots or bloused above your boots. From the Air Force instructions, it says, and I quote, "When bloused, the trousers will not extend below the third eyelet from the top of the boot." So make sure that your pants are also not dangling over your boots, because that is apparently out of regulations. We learn something new every day. Hopefully you found it helpful at the very least. And to date this video, dry cleaning pickup was today, September 3rd. If you didn't pick up your uniform today, then please do so early tomorrow so you can get changed into the proper uniform. Especially important with pictures, but we'll get into that later. If you didn't get your uniform dry cleaned this last week, but want to, make sure to bring it in on Thursday before school. Remember that the cost is $6 per item. It can be paid in cash, check, or card, so you have many different options when paying. And some of you might be experiencing ABU covers that are too big or too small. The covers are now in for the ABU, so if you want to exchange your cover for the proper size, then just go into logistics to get your cover changed. Just don't flock there all at once and crowd it. And lastly, for uniforms, it's still pertinent from last week. Remember to check your schedules to see if you need to bring your PT clothes. And you can't do PT in your uniform, so just make sure that you bring your PT clothes. Remember that if you have JROTC on Friday, you will need to bring your PT clothes. Don't bank on them not having you change out. You always need to change out. Just think of it like that. Now for some special opportunities that UMA is offering. First up is the Close-Up DC. Last school year, that's not in proper script. Anyways, it was announced that the 2025 Close-Up trip to Washington, D.C., where cadets would be able to attend the presidential inauguration. It was announced last year. We have been able to extend the deadline to include new students or cadets that have changed their minds and now want to go. If you wish to join, a deposit is due September 15th. And the final payment is due October 4th. Those that attend will visit memorials and museums, watch the inaugural address and parade, and attend an inauguration ball. There is a separate itinerary for parents or adults who are interested in participating. If you wish for more information regarding the cost and accommodations, please email Miss Bobadillo, don't know how to pronounce that name, sorry if I butchered it, at nacde@utahmilitaryacademy.org. Again, that is nacde@utahmilitaryacademy.org. Then there's the Congressional Series. The Sutherland Institute has 2 more sessions for the Congressional Series this week. The Congressional Series started last week and will now continue through this week on Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, students will meet with Representative Malloy and Representative Curtis on Thursday. I don't know if it's too late to sign up, but if you are interested, talk with Major Workman to see if you are able to go still, and if you want to go anyways. And the last part of this topic is legislative internship. Any cadets interested in the legislative internship should contact Major Workman. Legislative internship is a great opportunity to see firsthand how the government works, and will help build your resume for those interested in academies or scholarships. Anyone interested should come check it out. Tomorrow, aka Wednesday, is Picture Day. The yearbook photos will be taken then, so make sure that your blues look good and your hair is cut. Boys, make sure that you shave. Girls, make sure your hair is properly tied up. And seniors, you'll be wearing your service coats for the pictures, which means you'll need a tie and your service coat. All other cadets will wear their light blue shirts with no jackets. Ties and tie tabs are optional unless you are wearing a service coat, of course. And any cadets interested in running for SBO this year can pick up a form from the front office. When you have that form filled out, turn it into Major Curtis's room by Friday, September 16th. The elections will be on Monday, September 9th through Wednesday, September 11th. After that, the winners will be announced on Thursday, September 12th in formation. Many of these positions were filled last spring, but each grade will be electing one more council member, and 7th grade will be electing everyone, their president and their council. If you have any more questions, talk to Major Curtis. This was also announced last week, but it is just as important now. Sophomores and juniors, the school will be offering the PSAT. Sophomores, this is a good practice to prepare for the ACT and SAT. For juniors, it's the same, except it's also a good look at the test for the future, and it is also used for National Merit Scholar applications. It's strongly encouraged that you take the test. In terms of dates, we don't have a solid one, that, as far as I know. It's just slated to take place at the end of October. However, you must register for it by the 10th of September, so next Tuesday. The cost of this will be $18 in the office, so please pay it by then. For seniors, you should start looking at scholarships in colleges. A good place to look for these is at the counselor webpage for the scholarship opportunities. It can be found on the UMA webpage for the counselor site. And if you are planning to apply for academies or ROTC scholarships, please do it now. On top of that, if you have any credit recovery needs, please begin working on the packets now. They can be purchased in the office for $35 a term. And this next part is more in line with team times, but then we have sports before this, and I'm too lazy to adjust the order. So, Kitty Hawk is currently seeking members and leaders. Kitty Hawk is a cadet-led peer tutoring program to aid all cadets in their academic pursuits, to aid the higher academic goals of our wing, as well as the school in general. They are currently seeking members and leaders. For more information, see Cadet Eckberg, Cadet Major Eckberg, or Lieutenant Colonel Tischer. Now we can get to the genuinely interesting part of the week. Baseball had a home game today, and they have an away game on Thursday against American Heritage. Girls soccer had an away game today against Summit Academy, and they have another away game on Thursday against St. Joseph. Last up is girls volleyball, and they have a home game against Camp Williams. If I remember correctly, this was on Thursday. Give me one moment. I do believe so. Yes, it is on Thursday. And, you know, it's Camp Williams, our arch enemy. So go out and support all these teams, especially girls volleyball. Now, getting into the team times, on Monday there's Boy Scouts with Mr. Chapman in Room 101, MMA with Coach Foley in the cafeteria, Ham Radio with Mr. Mamanakis in Room 119, Marksmanship with Coach Castle on the range, Archery with Coach Sage on the range, and many study halls. The availability and rooms of which you can find on the schedules hanging in the hallways. On Tuesday, there's Kitty Hawk with Lieutenant Colonel Tischer in Room 122, Innovation Station with Mr. Curtis in Room 201, Learn to Cook with Mrs. Greneau in the cafeteria, Aeronautic Modeling with Mr. Warner in Room 123, Dungeons and Dragons with Mr. Doctor in Room 203, Chess Club, at least I'm pretty sure, which should be in the library, and Drama Club with Major Curtis in Room 101. There are also many study halls, as previously mentioned. On Wednesday, it is said that team times are limited due to back-to-school night, although I'm pretty sure that happened last week. I'm not sure, though. I'm just a messenger. Anyway, there's archery on the range, MMA in the cafeteria, marksmanship on the range, Avatar team time with Miss Kruger in Room 110, Airsoft with Captain Leckman in Room 208, Esports with Mr. Storm in Room 107, Open Art with Mrs. Carter in Room 122, Emergency Service and Search and Rescue with Mr. Warner in Room 123, Japanese Club / Science Study Hall with Mr. Gabriel in Room 118, Honor Guard with Sergeant Jimenez on the drill pad, Junior National Honor Society with Mrs. Carlisi in Room 119. There are also, like was mentioned before, many study halls. They really want to hammer that in. And thankfully for this week, we actually have team times, unlike last week where I didn't have any to give you. So I can actually tell you what's happening. So, there is Cyber Patriot with Mr. Storm in room 107, Innovation Station with Mr. Curtis in room 201, German Club with Mr. Atkins in the library, Archery on the range, Raiders with Captain Leckman starting in room 208. Honor Guard on the drill pad, Cap with Lieutenant Colonel Carlisi in room 207, Aeronautical Modeling with Mr. Warner in room 123, Dungeons & Dragons with Mr. Doctor in room 203, and National Honor Society with Miss McCutcheon. That doesn't seem right. As a member of NHS, I'm pretty confident that it's on Wednesday. I'll confirm it for you next week. Anyway, Garage Band with Mr. Cap in room 124, Military Film Club with Major Curtis in room 101, and once again, a lot of study halls. Should probably get a sticker and sell it with how much they are wanting to push that. Sounds like a fun idea. Anyways, that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the announcements and found them useful. Please tell your friends about this podcast so they too can get informed about the happenings of our school. Wait for next week to get further information on anything else. And as always, remember to have a good day.